and welcome back everyone. Today we are still continuing the chapter Playing with Numbers. But today we are going to learn a new subtopic which is divisibility rules. So let's start the lesson. Now we will learn the divisibility rule of 2. The divisibility rule of 2 is that if the ones digit is either 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8, it is divisible by 2. Otherwise, it is not. Now, we will check if these numbers which I am showing you is divisible by 2. So, we already know the divisibility rule of 2. So, let's check. First, number 1. The ones digit is 8, so it is divisible by 2. The second one, the ones digit is 0, so it is divisible by 2. But the third one, ones digit is 5, so it is not divisible by 2. Now we will learn the divisibility rule of 3. Divisibility rule of 3 is that the sum of the digits of the number should be divided by 3. Then it is divisible by 3. If we don't get a whole number or a natural number, it is not divisible by 3. So let's try these examples to check that if these are divisible by 3. First, we already know the divisibility rule of 3. So let's start. 9 plus 7 plus 2 plus 9 plus 5 plus 8 plus 8 is equal to 48. But if we still don't know if 48 is divisible by 3, we can again add the digits 4 plus 8, which is equal to 12. And if you still have a doubt if 12, you don't know if 12 is divisible by 3, we can still add the digits 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. And 3 is divisible by 3, of course. The first number is divisible by 3. Now the second number is 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 0. We will not care much about the 0 as 0 plus any number is equal to the same number itself. So that is equal to 18. And if we are still not sure if it is divisible by 3, we can again add the digits 1 plus 8, which is equal to 9. And we know that 9 is a multiple of 3, so it is divisible by 3. Number 3. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5. Last time I said that we won't care much about the zeros because any number plus 0 is equal to the same number itself. This is equal to 90. But if you're not sure that is 19 divisible by 3, we will add the digits 1 and 9 again, which is equal to 10. If you still don't know if 10 is divisible by 3, we can add 1 and 0 again, which is equal to 1. And 1 is not divisible by 3. So third number is not divisible by 3. Now we will learn the divisibility rule of 4. The divisibility rule of 4 is that last two digits are 0, then it is divisible by 4. But if it is not, the last two digits are not 0, then if the last two digits are divisible by 4, then it is divisible by 4, otherwise it is not. Now we will check the divisibility rule of 4 on these three numbers. The first, we already know the divisibility rule of 4. So first we will check the divisibility rule of the first number, which is 2,799,588. 88 divided by 4 is equal to 22. So the first number is divisible by 4. The second digit is the last two numbers are 70. 70 is not divisible by 4 as 7 is not a multiple of 4. And 65 is also not divisible by 4 as 65 is also not a multiple of 4. The quotient of the first number is 22 and the remainder will be 0. and the quotient of the second number will be 17 and the remainder will be 2. And the quotient of the third number will be 16 and the remainder will be 1. So the first number is divisible by 4, the second number is not divisible, and the third number is also not divisible by 4. Now we will learn the divisibility rule of 5. The divisibility rule of 5 is that if the ones digit is 0, it is divisible by 5. If the ones digit is not 0, or if the ones digit is 5, then it is divisible by 5. If the ones digit is neither 0 or 5, then that number is not divisible by 5. Now we will check the divisibility rule of 5 in these 3 numbers. We already know the divisibility rule of 5. So the first number's last digit is 8, which is not 0 or 5. So it is not divisible by 5. Then the second digit's last number is 0. That is divisible by 5. And the third digit's last number is 5, which is divisible by 5. Now we will learn the divisibility rule of 6. The divisibility rule of 6 is that if it is divisible by 2 and if it is divisible by 3, then it is divisible by 6. So let's check the divisibility rule of 6 on these numbers. We already know the divisibility rule of 6. So let's check. Number 1 is divisible by 2. Number 2 is also divisible by 2. But number 3 is not divisible by 2. Now we need to check if these numbers are divisible by 3. First number is divisible by 3. Second number is also divisible by 3. But the third number is not divisible by 3. Now we will learn the divisibility rule of 8. The divisibility rule of 8 is that if the number is bigger than 1000, then if the last 3 digits is 0 is equal to 000, then it is divisible by 8. But if it is not, the last 3 digits are not 000, then if the last 3 digits are divisible by 8, then that number is divisible by 8. But if the number is less than 1000 and if the number is divisible by 8, then yes, that number is divisible by 8. But if that number when divided by 8 does not give a whole number, then that means that number is not divisible by 8. So let's try the divisibility rule of 8 in these 3 numbers. We already know divisibility rule of 8. So let's check the last 3 digits. 588 when divided by 8 will give 73 as a quotient and 4 as the remainder. 670 when divided by 8 will give 83 as the quotient and 6 as the remainder. And when 765 is divided by 8, we will get 95 as the quotient and 5 as the remainder. So all these 3 numbers are not divisible by 8. Now we will learn the divisibility rule of 9. The divisibility rule of 9 is similar to the divisibility rule of 3. Sum of all the digits should be divisible by 9. Now let's check the divisibility rule of 9 on these 3 numbers. We already know the divisibility rule of 9. So 9 plus 7 plus 2 plus 9 plus 5 plus 8 is equal to 48. Or if we still don't know if 48 is divisible by 9, we can add 4 plus 8 which is equal to 12. Add it again. 1 plus 2 which is equal to 3. And 3 is a factor of 9, not a multiple. So this number is not divisible by 9. Then the next number, 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 0 is equal to 80. And 1 plus 8 is equal to 9. So this second number is divisible by 9. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 is equal to 90. 1 plus 9 is equal to 10. We can add it again, which is equal to 1 plus 0, which is equal to 1. 1 is a factor of 9, but not a multiple. So this number is not divisible by 9. Now we have learned the divisibility rule of 10. Divisibility rule of 10 is that if the ones digit is 0, that number is divisible by 10. But if the ones digit is not 0, then that means that number is not divisible by 10. Now let's check the divisibility rule of 10 on these three numbers. The ones digit of the first number is 8, which is not 0. So that number is not divisible by 10. Number's ones digit is 0. So that number is divisible by 0. The ones digit of the third number is 5. So that number is not divisible by 10. We will learn the divisibility rule of 11. Divisibility rule of 11 is that if the sum of the odd place digits plus minus the sum of even place digits is equal to 0 or is divisible by 11, then that number is divisible by 11. But if it is not 0 or the number is not divisible by 11, then that means that number is not divisible by 11. So let's check this first number. We will sort the odd and even numbers in this way. The odd numbers are 9, 2, 5 and 8. The addition of these odd numbers is 24 and the even numbers of 7, 9 and 8. So the addition of these even numbers is also 24. So the sum of the digits of all places minus the sum of digits even places is equal to 24 minus 24, which is equal to 0. So this number is divisible by 11. The next number 5, 6, 7, 0. So we will group the digits into odd and even numbers like this. Odd numbers are 5 and 7. So the sum of these odd numbers is equal to 12. And the even numbers are 6 and 0. And the sum of these even numbers are 6. So the sum of the digits at the odd places minus the sum of the digits at the even places is equal to 12 minus 6, which is equal to 6. So this number is not divisible by 11. So what did we learn today? Today we learned the divisibility rule of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And we also learned how we can find out the divisibilities of these numbers with examples. So if you guys like the video, please like, share, subscribe and hit on the notification bell to get more notifications when I upload more videos. Thank you and have a nice day.